All right, folks. So final round of Group C in Titans League Gold. And I have a lot to say, okay? So you need to hear about these two. So Siscon, top of the group in his first Gold League season. He has looked so good. He's gone 4-0 in sets. 2 of the sets he swept 3-0. The other sets he won 2-1. And he just needs 1 win. And then he's confirmed up to Platinum. Now, Siscon came into AoE. I may be having the year slightly wrong, but I think it was 2021. And he immediately rose up the ranks, was very good quite quickly. And a lot of it was, from what I understand, was like StarCraft background. So he had some StarCraft background, maybe played some other games. And for the last couple years, has been above the 2K level. The last year or two, 2K4, 2K5 on ladder, which is really good. But my worry with Siscon was the same worry I've had with other players, right? There's a lot of players who could be very good on ranked, but playing Arabia all day, every day, which is what most players do, it doesn't. I'm being told he never played StarCraft. Okay, well, I don't know where I got that information from. It was in my brain. Forget that, okay, if I'm wrong, because that one chatter. The point is, play like a beast, right, on ladder. But then it became very clear he was like a fish out of water. He was like a Frenchman without a baguette anytime he would play on other maps. And guys, I've been at this for a long time. There are many players that just have that issue because they don't have a wider variety of gameplay, and or they're only good on those types of maps. And so Siscon, he played in silver before to get into gold, and elo-wise, he was expected to make it in, and he didn't make it in. It was in the past. And so I remember thinking, like, there was a player like Siscon. There's other players I could mention who maybe didn't make it in this season. And you're just thinking, like, is it ever going to happen for them? Or are they just going to be this really high elo player who doesn't make a big push in tournaments? And the number one thing you have to do to make that big push in tournaments is A, you've got to play a lot of them. B, you have to get through the disappointment of losing when you're the higher elo player, which has happened. And then C, you've got to prep. You have to prepare. Guys, in this group, Siscon is top of the group above players like Running and Kingston, who have had much brighter careers. And I think part of that is because of the preparation and energy that Siscon has brought this season. I've been very impressed. He needs 1 win here. He goes immediately to Platinum. And I think about the group winner in Group D as well. Like, this was the first time that Lewis ever made it to gold, and he won his group. It was the same deal. A player who I thought would be just Arabia only, who he said he played over 100 training games. That's what we want to see. That's what gets me excited, man. You guys all know, if you've watched Titans League before, I rant and I get really pissy if it's clear no one's trained. This is the opposite, okay? So my hat goes off to him for his performance so far. Let's see if he can close it out. He's not confirmed to go Platinum just yet. He still needs to get a win. He's playing as the Hindustanis. And now Z40 has a whole similar thing that I need to say about him. So Z40, who's gone for a dock, by the way. Z40 was in gold last season, and he got relegated. He didn't stay alive. He only had like 4 wins or something. And he is also rather slow, and he doesn't typically have as high rank on the ladder. So, honestly, I looked at Z40, and I wasn't sure that he would qualify for gold in the first place. And then when he made it to gold, I thought, is he actually going to be able to stay here? Because he got relegated last time. And he's played so well. He's got 8 wins. This is a group that has some really good players. And he is almost certain to go playoffs as long as he doesn't get swept here, I believe. So what Siscon could potentially do here today, if he wins 3-0, he actually steals first place from Siscon. But 1 win from Siscon, and he secures first. That's the situation. But by the way, same deal with Z40. Like, and these are some crazy walls from him right now, by the way. Z40 is on Team Tag, and MBL recently joined Team Tag, and MBL told me that when he joined, that like the Taiwanese players, they are having training sessions and conversations every single day. Now, I don't think MBL joins every meeting. He's like the star. He and the Sato are the star additions who are hopefully going to help those guys. But like every day, they're all talking about it. And there's other players to talk about there too. like Sorokuma, who lost in silver to wide, 3-2 in the silver bracket. I mean, I maybe ranted all through Dark Age a little too much here. But the point is, great stuff from Z40. His motivation is there. And his defense seems to be the plan here. Because he still hasn't clicked up. He's going for full wall. He's added fishing ships. And now he goes up to Feudal Age. Well, so you know what this reminds me of, guys? Sito, who is on Team Tag, and who's also French. So I don't know, like, where do the allegiances lie there for Sito? Who is he? All the French players are seen as Sito Light. But, you know, Siscon is maybe he's working with Margugu and Dark and some of the other Fox players. Anyways, I remember Sito went Vietnamese in full wall as well in his games in Platinum. So, crazy walls. Siscon is probably, like, not too pleased to see this. He wants an open type of game. And so he immediately reacts and is going to bring some vills forward now. Now, I wouldn't be that scared of walls if I were Hindustanis going scouts, because you do break through buildings pretty quickly. But to go scouts and tower would pretty much guarantee that you could break through that first layer. So they can't just quickly build a couple more palisades behind. So, defensive play from Z40. Ciskhan is just going to scout the rest of the map with the weak scout and bring more scouts forward. He immediately drops a tower. Sorry, my scroll wheel has been weird when casting. I don't know if it's capture rage or if my mouse is weird. But occasionally I'll just zoom out really fast, which is not on purpose. Z40's scout will get found by a new scout from Ciskhan. This is a lot of pressure so far. And he drops a tower, which forces Z40 into an immediate reaction with his own tower. But guys, Z40 wants to add fish traps here. That's his plan. And Ciskhan, don't think he really has an idea of that. He will see that the mill is late, so maybe that could tell him. So far, I mean, it really depends on how this is going to play out. There is stone in the back for Z40, so he's taking the forward stone, which is probably just because the pressure is getting to him right now. Should realistically be able to just go back here. And look at how fast Siscon is breaking through the house. This is Hindustanis for you. So the tower has posed a threat. It's actually shooting down Z40's tower right now. And Siscon, this is the type of aggression that he loves to play with here. Emperor Noob says, T90, would you put Ganji as an example of someone who perhaps didn't prep enough? Potentially, yeah. I don't know. With Ganji, it just kind of looked like Rust. And Rust isn't always just because you haven't been playing enough. Rust is also, sometimes you just aren't there. Like, sometimes you're just not playing well. Like, I think I feel too strongly about that because that's me right now. But, I mean, that just happens to people, so. But I do think a lot of people looked at their groups and they said that, I think they were like, okay, I shouldn't need to prepare a lot, and I can beat these silver plebs, you know? And Siscon's like, nope, and Z40's like, nope, and, you know, like, who would have expected that Kingston and Running, who were platinum before, were going to be not in the top 2 positions in this group? Nobody. And then Ganji, of course, survived, but he won't even be in playoffs. But this wave, the guys who came from silver to gold, guys, they were training for silver very actively. It was insane. I brought in a third admin because I was like, these games are going to be intense. I couldn't focus on them because I was at Noble Apartment Cup, and that's what was happening then. But I was watching the games while there, and I'm always talking to players and, like, looking at recs and, like, I don't know. This gives me an opportunity. I'm like, super obsessed with this from a content level, but it's where my heart's at, you know? And so it's been really fun. I love to talk about it to you guys. And I love to hear, like, it's kind of a weird position because, like, I'll hear people's strats from both sides and I can't share with the other, right? But I'm like, someone will show me one thing or say they're doing this or training with that or this. And then I hear the other side of it and I'm like, oh boy, I can't wait to see it, you know? And then my fiance's like, why do you always have an extra like 40 minutes of work right before bed? And it's because I'm looking at a recorded game or something. Holy scouts here from Siscon. Walls are coming up. Villager goes down. And this is lovely pressure here from Siscon. Lovely pressure. But he hasn't stopped the fish trapping yet. And the fish traps are set up. And that's what Z40 has gone for. So this is risky. This is really risky. You give up full army control, but knowing the skill set of both of these, I think that Siscon is definitely the better player if it's open land armies. So I like the strategy. Siscon will be in Castle Age faster. I also like the patient play from Siscon as well. I think less experienced players who are very aggressive, they don't balance their eco behind this. So this is somewhat calculated. To understand that he's applying pressure, but he can't all in this because he'll eventually fall behind. And a couple vills go to stone. This is probably so he has the stone for a second TC. But it could also be for Ghoulims, which... I mean, if he eventually gets a castle in this matchup, I actually think that's really good for him. Would like to see a TC on the hill, potentially. Any other Civ on this map really struggles against how Z40 has played this. But the Hindustanis can pose so much more of a threat with those scouts. And the skirms are still really annoying. Z40 is up, though. Z40's got 9 fishing ships on fish traps. So this is like this sneaky, risky, but really solid meta on this map. Because Siscon's eco is only vills. The Z40's eco is vills and fishing ships. The food eco should be fantastic here, but with food eco, you kind of want to make knights, I think. And going knights against Hindustanis is also kind of tough when they can go for the camels, right? Another villager goes down. Santana says, why don't you mix a few archers against the repair bills? That could work, but you're honestly kind of happy... You're kind of happy to just do chip damage, regardless. And as you can see, with the hill, you can kill village anyways. I'm actually with you on that. I tend to do that. I used to do that all the time. But then, like, things aren't perfect for Elite Skirm and Bodkin, too. You kind of need that gold. So, it looks like Siscon balanced that out pretty nicely there. Pulled the villagers off of stone. So he's not going to go for a castle. He just got enough stone for the TCs. And is now focusing on the pressure. Elite Skirm's now in. And the scouts are still battering down that barracks way faster than Z40 is prepared for. But Z40 has collected 1,400 more resources. Has 2 stables here. Has kept the archers alive. This is going to be crossbow and knight. And if the knights are out in time here, this could be really good for Z40. Feels like Z40 needs a little bit more time. And so house number 1, villager goes down. I mean, these house foundations are not going to hold much longer. And scouts will be through. So Siscon will have ballistics for the skirms. I'm sure he's pumped about that. But now he also sees the knights. Now, he might not know about the fish trap. So he might think that there's no way his opponent can get the upgrades and get the numbers of knights. And right now, the upgrades aren't in, so the skirms are doing a good enough job. Z40 still pushing out, though, and has 3 more knights in queue because of the fish traps. And this is great for Z40. Now, you have to keep those crossbowmen alive, though. The crossbowmen are key here against any camels. And Siscon knows that. He's sniping every crossbowman he can. And I think Z40 needed a little bit more patience here. A great micro from Siscon, and now the crossbows are out of the picture. Now camels can be pretty decent. I think only having that first armor upgrade's kind of painful here. Not having bloodlines hurts, because the skirms can still contribute pretty nicely. And just enough there from Siscon. Holds onto the area. Will come to the hill now to drop a TC. And then we have Z40 hoping to expand to that TC. Yeah, Z40's going to need some gold. I really think if that's a case where if Z40 sat back for an extra minute, waited for a couple more knights and a couple more crossbows, that whole fight can go differently. But it's hard to judge that in the moment. When you've been this defensive, you're waiting for a pushback now. He's had no map control this entire game. Siscon, who has done no wrong this season. What was it, guys? Is he 10-2? 10 wins, 2 losses coming into this series, I think? He's got to be feeling so good. And that, like, you can sense that with how players play as well. If they've been having a rough time, they second-guess themselves. They make mistakes. I definitely think that Z40's strategy has been good here, though. With the skill sets at play, he is just not a player who can play open maps as well as Siscon, in my opinion. At least unless you incorporate the water and the walls. Z40's one of the slower players in all of Gold League. I can show that later. He did re-wall this, but the skirms are here, and Siscon finds 2 kills. So he has his hill. He is on stone again. Has the camels armored, and he's just kind of waiting. And Z40 will come to the hill now. Got bloodlines, getting husbandry, massing up the crossbows again. Does have the second TC. Siscon just sees crossbows, and he snipes with those skirms. And now he's got the camels, and now he's got the monk, and Z40's got to get out of there. And Siscon is always ready. Crazy value from his armies this game. Still behind by like 2,000 resources collected, by the way, which is ridiculous. You can't tell me that this isn't a good play. I mean, if you can defend, it's a great play. But it's a matter of making the army that can match that now. T90, is it possible to start the stream at 6 a.m. for me as a Finn so I can watch live until the end? This schedule is unfair for Europeans. Pyraj, it's your first message on the channel. Let me just tell you that my American audience is going to take some type of they're going to be annoyed with the comment, schedule is unfair for Europeans. The Age of Empires 2 community is actually very European schedule based, so I'm not going to start at 6 a.m. I'm sorry. And hopefully you can still see enough of the games. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's unfair for Europeans. I'd say it's unfair for... Like, it's 1 p.m. for me on a Wednesday, right? So if a lot of people who live where I live are probably at work right now, you know? I feel like this is maybe decent enough times for you, but it does depend what you work, what you're up to. I have woken up at that time to start sets before, though. But the games have to be good enough for it. And I have to not be the host because I'm not scheduling to wake up at 6 a.m. even to watch this carnage. What a fight from Siscon. His army's insane. He snipes the monk. His camels are so tanky here. The eco's actually even. But another moment in the game where Siscon just takes another really good fight. And now he's going to do what we were all expecting. He's going to come forward and drop a castle. This castle means he can produce golems as well. And break into the main base. Maybe get over to the fish. I still don't think that you base your strategy around trying to kill the fish. I don't even know if he knows about it. He has no clue. But this denies a gold, which is going to be critical for Z40. And I don't think he knew about this gold. Z40's hoping to castle this, but the skirms are still there. I think he'll get this castle up eventually, but Siscon's just had full control, guys. He's just so good. He feels platinum. He has. It's just like the aggression's there, the consistency's there. Look at him now going to 4 TCs. He's even going to TC it elsewhere on the hill. And sure, Z40's going to get this castle up. But the only way Z40 has a chance now is probably Imp. And that's what he's going to do. Again, give credit to Z40. He's had a nightmarish situation trying to win fights. But the army type, I think, has been the right call. And the only way he gets back now is a defensive castle and Imp. And I think that's the right call, too. So, Sato's in my chat. Sato, can you tell me, like, have you been doing training with Siscon? Or has that been... Because I know you're on Team Tag now, which is Z40's team. But then you're also like the French captain, you know? I'm curious. I also haven't spoken to too many people from Fox to know how actively Siscon has been training there. But Fox obviously has had a lot of really good players in Titans League. I think Margugu has struggled a little bit, but I expect some bigger things from him. And then, of course, you've had like, Sebastian playing well, Dark playing well, Mihai's in gold as well. Satosis, not much at the beginning of TTL. Yes, not anymore as respect for Z40. Okay, got it. Yeah, that makes sense. You don't. That would be a weird conflict of interest to, like, train with Siscon now to make him better against Z40. I see that. Well, it's going to be Rats and Archers for Z40. And Rats and Archers is definitely one of the better things he could do. He'll be imped 2 minutes faster, but he won't have any of the map control on this hill. And it's going to be really tough to surprise Siscon. He's patrolling the Spearman here to protect this stone and gold. Starting to look around and outpost the map. I think the best thing you can make as Hindustanis against Vietnamese right now is probably Ghoulims. But if you make Ghoulims and your castles get trebed down, this does get kind of difficult. So again, I respect the fact that Siscon's been patient. Because if you try and send in too much army against the castle, it could be kind of tricky. But he will have some army problems. Ooh. Z40, careful. Was not expecting that. Again, Siscon just jumps on him immediately. He knows when he moves out. The only thing he doesn't know about is that sneaky TC. Sito says, Siscon is talented. He is a bit stupid sometimes, but he has potential. Yeah, but I mean, we're all kind of stupid until we learn. That's why I got so pumped about Siscon, man. I was talking about how he didn't make it into gold before. And there's a lot of other players too. They're like disappointed and they're like, man. And one of two things happens. You just blame it on the Civ, or you just get mad at the maps and then you leave it at that. Or you say, I need to be better and I need to fix my weaknesses, which I think Siscon and other players have done. Z40 included. Z40's giving himself a chance, guys. He's going to take down this castle. He will have 4 trebs to move over to this castle. I mean, all the relics, all the buildings and everything for Siscon's in the middle. Siscon has probably wisely not committed to going for Ghoulims here. He's instead going to go Skirms, which has worked really well for him so far and will be really good here. It's tough for Z40 to play Trebor and Rats and Archers, and only 2 castles to produce the Ratans. Monks for Siscon will get some great conversions. Oh man, and that can't be worth it for Z40. The Skirms still going to do a decent enough job. Eventually, Rats and Archers are pretty good against Skirms from an Archer's perspective. But they're not that good, and they're not elite yet. He is killing off some of these Skirms for now. He's desperate to push this hill. But one of the trebs goes down for Z40. The other trebs haven't been firing here. They're still coming in. We've got 43 on food for Siscon. 5 relics in the bank. And he's also going to start the raids with the light cav. So this has been fighting in pretty much just one area. And now Z40 is going to have to deal with raids at the same time. He just can't push up this hill. There's so much army production from Siscon. Now the light cav will come in from the front. He has his own bombard cannon sniping the treb. The hussars will finish the other one. The skirms are still holding the front. Z40 does not realize the raid is happening there. And he tried to keep Siscon away from him. He tried to take an advantage, wall up, and keep the pressure away, because he knows what type of player Siscon is. But Siscon takes the win, and Siscon secures, even though we have 2 more games, the fact that he will be platinum next season. That was beautiful. I've seen so many players lack patience and go too YOLO in Feudal Age. I've seen so many players throw their eco out the window, not do the safe play, the smart play. And Siscon was just super smooth the whole way through. Took really good engagements. Felt like he was in control the entire game. I think, honestly, for Z40, it's that first engagement. If he had a couple more nights maybe one more upgrade in that first engagement. I think he could have, the rest of the game changes. I think his eco was fairly good considering how bad the army control was. If he could have just taken a better fight there, maybe he takes the hill. Maybe the whole game changes from there. Now, we have to double check because Z40 is still in a pretty good spot in this group. But I do think he needs one win still to be comfortable. There's the difference in the res collected, by the way. But there's the difference in the fights. Hindustanis looked perfect there for Siscon. And there's the difference in the speed as well. You can just tell Siscon's just definitely the faster of the two. Most players in gold are hovering around like 70 to 80 average EAPM. I guess Stone Please really takes that average way up. Z40 is around 51 average. Z40 is definitely, I think, the slowest player or one of the slowest players in gold. But it just needed to win that fight there. So game number 2, we just double checked it. Z40 is not confirmed to be playoffs if he gets swept here. A lot of that does depend on what happens with running and land later. Running and land will be interesting because running needs a sweep and then land needs a sweep. Land needs a sweep to survive. Running will need a sweep. But running needs to avoid being swept to survive, and then running needs a sweep to get playoffs. So a lot of things to happen. We've got Z40 as the Dravidians. This is a perfect map for him. He's more strategic. He's a slower player. He likes to boom. Ciskhan has played Italians a lot on this map in the group stage. And he always finds a way to be aggressive. But it's aggressive with eco behind that's the key here on shoals. Yeah, seriously, how do I say I can't speak French in French? It's not oui, okay? I'm not that stupid. Nope. Je parle pas français. Oh, that's too many words. Je ne parle pas français. Okay. I mean, it sound... I'm going to forget that. Je ne parle. Je ne parle. Okay? Akuni, thank you for the 22 months. Thank you, Robgar, for the prime. I could just say 9. No, I'm not just going to say 9. Theo, thank you for the $10 dono. Says, hey, T90, hope the tournament goes to your satisfaction. It was fun playing against you in the NAC quiz. Ah, you're here to brag, are we? So you're that, Theo. All right. Well, we all know it was Viper's fault. Thank you for the dono. I had a good time, even though we lost. Even though it was supposed to be Doubt, and Doubt didn't show up. That's my real complaint. I wasn't even supposed to do that. I didn't know I was going to be involved. Ruby, thank you for the 50 months. Endrich, thank you very much for the prime. And M. Ronan, thanks for the 29 months, guys. We hit our first sub goal. And I'll be live pretty much every single freaking day leading up towards March 2nd. So we have lots more action to come. So I think Z40 will go double dock in Feudal. Because he's building his first dock here. And then Siscon is most likely going fast castle based on that dock. That dock's actually very nice. There's 2 deep fish very close by underneath the tower. That's not too bad. Thank you, Achim. This is baguette croissant. Yeah, is that the only French stuff you know? Like if someone says... That would be like, I guess English is more widely spoken in different areas. But what are people going to say? Like cheeseburger? What would you say for America then? If it's baguette croissant, is it like cheeseburger pizza? I don't know. Barbecue? Guns? Oh, chat, don't say guns. Don't say guns. That makes me so sad that that's what people actually say. That makes me so sad. All right. I get it. I was talking food. Twinkies? What's the most American food possible? People who are not from America. Barbecue? Mac and cheese? Ooh, dude. Burger? I think burger is definitely... I think burger's got to be up there. I think a lot of people assume fast food. Like, I think people out of the U.S. just kind of assume that Americans are just eating fast food for every single meal. Which I'm sure there are people who are, but that's not my experience. They are, though. Where are you from? What have you experienced, sir? I guess we are on Twitch. I mean, maybe we're like pretty deep into the not leave PC, not leave home community. It's pretty convenient, actually. You think about it, as a streamer, I really should be doing that more. Yeah, okay. Well, we got both on the way to Feudal Age here. So they're both going to go for Feudal Age. Interesting. Zara says, our image of American food is just food from a different country, but labeled as American. Well, I mean, to some degree, I could see that making sense. I think most of the Americanized food that you think of are not necessarily, like, the highest quality. You know, you think, like, hot dog, you know, cheeseburger. But in my experience, like, obviously, I've lived here my whole life, and I've lived in different areas. The nice thing is, at least where I live at the moment, where I live is kind of known for really good food. The best types of foods, and like the best types of chefs and whatnot, typically are going to be available in the U.S., which is quite nice. Not everything, though. Not everything. Like, I can't have a 3 a.m. donair as frequently as I'd like. Like, I'm in Germany, dude. The 3 a.m. food definitely hits a little bit different for me. Because every LAN event we do in Germany goes to, like, 3 a.m. So, Z40 on golds. 2 docks, 6 fishing ships. Wow, okay. And gonna go galleys, and it will be galleys from Siscon from 2 docks as well, on 5 fishing ships. All right. Now, just a minor thing here, and I really don't think it's that big a deal. But I personally would be happier if Siscon took this fish first. Now, he's a platinum player now. He's earned platinum. But you take as much food from this as possible, and then this is your safe fish, you know? The scouts find each other. And Villager doesn't get the hit there. Siscon has more HP. But there is a tower. Oh, and the tower hits him. And they're both actually 4 hits away from killing each other now. But the first hit came in from Siscon! Oh, and the galley dodges at the final moments. Dude, that arrow whizzed right past his ear. My goodness, I could hear it from here. That was ridiculous. So, Siscon keeps the scout alive. Siscon also snipes a fishing ship. Nice start. But you still have the transition, that eco behind this. Wow, he's even faster to fletching here. He's playing with so much confidence, man. To scout micro there, get away with it. Have the timings on fletching so quick. Look at the difference. Z40 is like, I have to fight him because he's here to fight me. And then Siscon's the one looking to start the battle. Unfortunately, it's the first time I'm actually casting Siscon all of Gold League, but I did watch every single set. And he's been really impressive. And in really good shape. You know who he kind of reminds me of? He kind of reminds me of Dark, this Titans League. Just like his overall approach and the way, I don't know, the vibe of following the units. It just reminds me of Dark. And look at this. He goes up to the galley count, and now he's going to add fish. Man, I've been talking about this. Like, that game between freaking Andy and Hart in Platinum League genuinely made me lose sleep. I went to bed in such a bad mood because they made so many ships when the freaking sea towers were out there. Like, this is great. You make enough Navy to compete on water, and now you just... Well, now he's making more Navy. But still, you added a couple more fishing ships to greed it out a little bit. That's fine. It's kind of funny. They're shooting the arrows over the rock here. The rock does not block it. But it does block the movement. You can't move in that area. As Siscon, it's cheaper for him to click up. Z40 hanging in. Z40 will use the market as well. Probably click up at a pretty similar time. So 3 OKD for Siscon. Scout could be scouting the rest of the map, but probably will in the future. And uptimes are going to be pretty much similar here. Now, they're committing to a lot of galleys. So here I think it's kind of difficult to justify fires, but could maybe make a couple fire ships as well. When you're in Castle Age, you'll pretty much need the fire ships to take out the sea tower. Siscon will drop another dock. Wow, so a whole lot of water investment. Well, when they both committed this much, it makes sense, right? Scout is on auto scout now, I think. Is that auto scout or is that... Nope. No auto for Siscon. Does it bother anybody else when people have weak scouts and they don't auto scout with them? It really bothers me. Like, I get it. Actually, if you're going to bring that home and heal it, I actually really like not auto scouting because there's a chance it can run into something. That's what they don't want. They want that unit to be alive. But obviously, they've got a lot of different things to focus on at the moment. Look at Siscon sneak around here. He's like, I know there's a weak fishing ship in there. He almost got it, but he got spotted. Z40 reacted very nicely. Z40 finally gets some kills. And look at those resources here for Siscon. He makes it to Castle Age with 600 food in the bank. Didn't full wall. It's kind of a full wall here for Z40. He's got some nice space to boom in the back, and he'll get a lot of wood when he makes it to Castle Age. 7 relics on the map. One of those relics is smack dab in the middle. And War Galley and Bodkin comes in for both. Siscon sees the fish, though. And Siscon will snipe the fish immediately. He doesn't seem to care about the sea tower too much more. Another big shot from Siscon. Another big shot from Siscon. Another big shot from Siscon. Z40 taking the fight before he had Bodkin. I think he didn't think about it because the ships didn't change to War Galley. But Bodkin arrow was already in for Siscon. Really nice builds. Is pretty much the same builds for both of them. Honestly, it's cleaner builds than some of the Platinum games I've seen on Shoals. But Siscon has been the better player here so far. And there's the TC on the gold as well. I love this, man. I really like this. Really smart. I also love the TC timing and the farm transitions for Z40. And this game is far from over. But Z40 would ideally love to snipe some of the fishing ships Siscon has right now. Because Siscon feels like he's added enough on water to be able to fish freely. Yeah, 5 seconds where you don't have upgrades, and then Siscon's micro, and everything falls apart for you, and 0 fishing ships killed there. So it's not the most efficient fishing ever, but it is better than nothing. And now 3 TCs for Siscon. Now, this could be really bad for Z40, but his eco is safe, right? All these vills, safe. This gold, safe. Relic, safe. This gold's actually not safe, so I guess that's not. But, like, he's going to go to stone for a castle, and he's probably going to outpost. If he spots this, and he just castles this area, it could be really bad. Now, what do you guys think? If you're in Siscon's position, is it good that he TC'd here, so he doesn't have vision on the one side? Or should he have TC'd the opposite side to block it? I kind of think, after seeing one of the games from, I think it was Ganji Licks yesterday, I think TCing the opposite side is bad because they can castle drop you and siege push you easier. So at least here, if they come to try and disrupt you, their castle's not going to be on your TC. So I actually really like what Siscon did. All these little, tiny little details you got to think about. Scout, by the way, is actively scouting this side. I think it's actually just patrolled. Maybe it will move around the map more. But yeah, Siscon knows I've got some gold here. And now I need to stop my opponent from getting some. And he's actually adding a range. Which you never see in Castle Age. But it does kind of make some sense. Because you already have Bodkin arrow from the ships. And you could use the archers to stop any castles or villagers coming out. So there's a stable now from Z40. Did Siscon see the barracks? He did. So he might be expecting some scouts. Guys, look at Z40's eco. He's got 28 farms. Siscon has 10. Some of that is due to going cav archers. Okay. He did this earlier in the group as well, by the way. He went CA against Target. And it was just too much for Target to deal with. It was a similar situation where Siscon won water, and then he went cav archers to harass. I mean, if this house goes down, the cav archers can run in, right? Here comes Z40. He will add scouts. This could be relic number 2. The outpost will get vision in this area, and he might be able to sneak this way. Can't go this way, actually. The whole area is walled off by wood. So he can't go that way at all with that navy there. That's really good for Siscon. Wow, ballistics for Siscon. That's crazy. I don't know. Like, I think he might be onto something. We see so many people make as little army as possible in Platinum, and then somebody walks over with 10 vills and drops a castle, and all hell breaks loose. Like, 6 cav archers to just completely secure this area. You could also walk through the middle to go to the other side. Scout went down for Siscon, by the way. I don't mind it. And guys, we're actually going to see the opposite. Now Z40 is going to TC this side, which protects it, but also leaves you vulnerable. And that TC will go up. Siscon should be thinking that with that scout being dead, that his opponent's over here. Where are those cav archers? Here they come. Siscon's on the way to Imp. Cav archers will run mainly into house walls here. They could dive through. It could be annoying. If they get into the back farming eco, it's already worth it. But he saw... Yeah. He thought that Z40 noticed him faster than he did. But Z40's like, And that's fine. I think as long as you get the houses, the CA could never get through. Siege Workshop from Z40. So he wants to pressure this area, which could be interesting. TC isn't completed yet, but it will. And guys, I actually think this Navy, which just killed the monk, I actually think this Navy can range this TC. I think it could sit here and range. So if he ever notices that TC, he could actually use the Navy for that. And Siscon's up. He's up. He's dropping a castle. He's dropping a stable. So Siscon will have full control of this gold, but still hasn't done anything about this. But man, Z40 was so late to the gold. And he isn't on this gold. So he's actually kind of out. Except for 2 relics. He is imping, though. He is going to make a Mega L over here, too. This is kind of wild, man. The fact that Siscon has no clue about this is crazy. Especially because his vills are going to path right into it. If he clicks vills this way, they're not going to go around. They're going to walk right into that. And that'll be double mangonel. Oh, boy. Okay, well, these vills walked into this, and the cav archers are here! Such great awareness from Siscon. I just don't think Z40 noticed. He's certainly not going to get that relic either, Z40. Now, at the same time, he's just hit Siscon. And Siscon didn't lose a single vill, by the way. He reacted immediately. So, just a big difference, man, in the reactions and the speed and the timings. Chemistry and Brace are now on the way for Siscon. He'll make some knights. He'll make a treb. I mean, he'll pressure big time over here. There's not enough on gold to get excited for Z40 on this side. And the cav archers run through! Give him a break, Siscon. You're already first, bro. You're already first. He says, give me that money. $20 per win. Still counts, even though he's confirmed to go platinum next season. Even though he's confirmed to be first. And this castle is all just a result of cav archers breaking through. Just so good. You give him an opportunity, he's going to take it. He's playing so well. The wonderful thing is we're going to finish this season of gold, and we're going to be super hyped about all the upcoming talent that gets promoted. And then immediately, they will all be extreme underdogs. It's like, oh my god, this player is so good. Oh my god, this player could be relegated. The Treb's on the way. TC's being attacked. I don't know if he knows about the castle back there. These cav archers have 16 kills. And also there's knights coming this way. It looks like he did attack round one of them, maybe including his own scout, but Siscon's got an answer for the siege push. The Siscon's got the trebs, and just another dominant victory there from Ciskhan. That was super well played. I honestly thought they kind of did the same things, right? They did the same thing. The builds were very similar. Their uptimes were similar to Castle Age as well. They didn't really heavily use the market that much. The main difference was where the third TC position was. Siscon actually TC'd here. Z40 could have gone for that. There was no army on the field, so he could have tried the same thing. But I think the reason you TC at home there is because you don't have fish and you need vills faster. So you can't walk that far. And, of course, Siscon had the fish. So, I mean, Siscon gets another victory. We still have the third game to be played. If Z40 does not win this game, his chances of going playoffs may slip away from him last minute, depending on what happens in the final round. So, Z40, if he does not win this game, he could have some problems making playoffs. He should be back in gold, but coming into the final week, he was second place, could easily drop down to fourth, depending on how other sets go. Z40 is playing as the Portuguese. These two dropping to have funs now. I'm sure Siscon's had a lot more fun so far, so that's nice of him to want to share some of that fun with Z40. Byzantines for Siscon, Portuguese for Z40. I like both civs, but this is Siscon's home map. This is the map that he chose. This is the map he should be most comfortable. He's already in plat, feeling like a king. And, man, what a crazy back gold for him. Actually, they both have really safe back golds. That's pretty wild. Wood is actually the main concern on this map, so where you place your lumber camps is kind of tricky because of the rocks. And then lots of stone and gold and hunt in the middle. We have yet to see a Byzantine player actually go barracks archer range in the middle and go full trash rush. Usually they're still building the buildings from home. I guess it's not that further away from the enemy. But I kind of expected we'd see a lot of forward buildings here, because then you just have... If you have military buildings parked in the middle of the map always, it's so awkward for the opponent to ever move past those buildings with confidence. Z40 Civ should be the better Civ here to play offensively, which is a bit interesting because he's definitely been the more defensive player so far. Also, the additional berry patches are helpful for the Portuguese because you get some wood from the berries, so I think we'll see use of that. Can have a very smooth eco. And also your gold units are just much cheaper, so. Someone says, has anyone ever placed a lumber camp in the wood line at the back? Yeah, so this is actually kind of close. So we scripted the map so these wood lines wouldn't be close enough to be able to justify it after the first week. So funnily enough, it doesn't look like Siscon will find that. But we've designed the map so there is wood on the outside, but it should be too far of a distance. So this is kind of how we wanted it. So this is more of a Castle Age lumber camp or TC, but not really justifiable in Feudal. And even this, like if you start to get attacked, you're so far away from your base and you're like boxed in. So I really don't think lumber camping back there is actually that good. But yeah, beef jerky's right. It did happen, I think, in the first week, and then we made an adjustment. Because then you're balancing how close those wood lines are to people on the outside, and it just became a different map at that point. So Ricky, thank you so much for the 10 months. Man, I got coffee, guys. I didn't drink any of it. I got it during the break. It's just sitting here, staring at me. Capwatch had a weird map here, but it wasn't bugged. All that happened there was just more rock terrain around. Oddly enough, I actually think that helped him because of where the gold and the wood was positioned. They were positioned right next to each other. So he was actually, if you rewatch that game, it was a snug little spot to defend. I would say that was an unintended generation, but it wasn't necessarily like an admin re, right? Oh, wow. Z40 is pushing 2 deer at once. Finally, we have someone doing this in the top 2 leagues. This is the first time I've seen it. So with the changes they made to deer, if you put them in a line, you can do this. And so Z40 knows that. And so you will see him do this. Now you got to get to the left of the deer. Now you're screwing it up. Now you got to get to the left of the deer. Now you're screwing it up. But okay, but he still brought them in close. And he should, that one, as long as it doesn't reset, should be close enough. And could still go back and snag that. Weapon Runner says Survivalist Special. He does this all the time. Yeah, Phosphorus showed him. Phosphorus is the one who is the one who started that and pointed that out. Just like a lot of other things. Now, it's not going to happen, unfortunately. I did confirm this with players because I didn't want to spoil it for a while. I thought it was actually going to be attempted. But the player that Phosphorus trained with and spoke to about it basically said it's completely horrible for your eco. But guys, I have a clip. I'm going to make a video on this. Basically, I have a clip of 12 deer being brought in on Rocky Forest through this choke. With 1 scout and 1 vil. You lure them in, and you go back and forth with a vil, you go back and forth with a scout, and the whole group just gets pushed in towards the TC. Phosphor was like, T90, I showed some players this, it's going to happen. It's going to happen in Gold League or Platinum. And I spoke to the players, and they were like, yeah, there's no way. Way too much multitasking. It's horrible for your eco. I won't be able to do it. So you can show it now, so. There's a couple things I knew about and didn't want to spoil. That one I can show you guys at another point. So range for Siscon, no big surprise. This will be Spear Skirm. And a lot of players are just matching the Skirms with better eco civs these days. But we'll see. Oh, it's actually Archers. Okay. So he wants Archer Scout. That's interesting. That could still work really well. It's the better army. Archer Scout is the better army, but it's more expensive and harder to control. Well, in some ways, harder to control. I guess it depends on your preferences. What did John say? John said something about... Where was the message? I swear John said something in chat, and I told myself I need to go back. Oh, he says, why is Phosphor rarely in any tournaments if he's always come up with crazy strats and stuff? Well, I mean, he did play in Titans League, Silver, but he lost in the second round. Phosphor's strength is also his weakness, right? If people know exactly what to expect each and every time, and you can't transition out of that, you're probably only going to go too far. Whereas, like, other players, and we have seen it in gold, Stone Please is one. So Stone Please said, okay, well, that stuff can... Some of those strats can be really strong. So I am good overall, and I'm going to use that a time or two to maybe get an advantage. And we did see him get wins with that. Now, Siscon, you told the guy to have fun, and now you're stealing his pig. Is this the type of fun you were envisioning? Don't you... This is not fun! Z40 needs this win for playoffs. That's not fun, Siscon. How dare you? By the way, he should absolutely do that. I'm just kidding. This is competitive AoE. This is absolute war, right? The gloves are off. Go get kills. But he didn't notice that this sneak happened. Or did he? I think he picked up on it. And look at the skirms are in position. And he knew this was coming. The skirms will go for the archers. And Z40 just wants kills so badly. And it's not going to happen, guys. That was well played from Siscon. So essentially, what happened there... and sorry, I wasn't able to really point it out in the moment. So he saw one archer, okay? You probably think I'm crazy. You think I'm full of crap. But he just saw one archer hop out of the range. Just one. At a time where there should be like 3 or 4. So if it's just one archer there, and you were through the middle, and your opponent wasn't in the middle, moving around the outside would be the most obvious play, and he sensed it perfectly because he's just on point. Because he's just playing incredible. He's going to chase that weak scout from Z40 home. Now he'll move forward. And Z40 walling up. So this has kind of been the trend. To wall to the edge here. Because you can't wall to your wood line. And then you can tower the one opening where you can. So players are going to play as defensive as they can. Even if the map is designed to not allow it. And stone now for Z40. I don't hate this. You could build more towers, and then the longer you're on stone, the more you could potentially get into organ guns, which is a really complicated unit to fight with trash. The stone miners here will be disrupted, so it probably won't be enough stone for castle later on. And then the archers are coming through the middle, and that's another sneaky move from Z40. He kind of had them in the back of his base. He did lose his scout a moment ago, so he doesn't have vision. He's just taking some risk. He needs a win, man. He needs a win. Skirms are here. That's 4 archers, though, and he could kill a lot with this. This would be very frustrating versus Siscon, because you feel as though you should be in a better position, and it's not going to be frustrating. I actually think Z40 was checking for the weak Vil from earlier there on the wood line, but the weak Vil was actually brought to a farm. And so just no chance. And yeah, as Byzantines, you also just have an idea of when that's coming. I'd love an outpost and a house in the middle. Like, it just feels like a cheat code. You're never surprised by anything. Outpost on the right, outpost on the left, and then an outpost in the house through the middle, and you'll just always see armies coming through. It'd be so good. Marcus says, what happens if Z40 gets this win and then running wins 3-0? They'll be tied. Well, so there's a tie break, but the tie break is not, as someone in my chat so kindly said, a knight fight to the death. There will be no knife fighting here, okay? We don't fight with knives, we fight with swords, okay? So we fight with swords. It's a LAN event, only instead of Age of Empires competition, it's physical fighting with swords. And Siscon kills another villager. My goodness. I don't know why the weak Vil was there, but Siscon found it. Yeah, okay, so obviously I'm joking. There will be no knives involved, Microsoft. Please don't cancel me. So the tie breaks, there's a long list of tie breaks, and this is how the order works. So if they're tied on wins, the very first tiebreak is set wins. And then if they have the same amount of set wins, then the next tiebreak is head-to-head. And then in the rare instance where there's a 4-way tie and you can't use head-to-head, it then moves on to some other criteria, which I don't have memorized. But obviously, if it's a tiebreak between 2 people, the head-to-head will determine the tiebreak. Siscon he's playing so good. He knows it's a stable switch now. This army's forced a lot of idle time. He knows his opponent can't go to stone. And he's not he's just playing confidently, guys. He's like, I'm going to control this map with army. You will surprise me with nothing, and you will like it. 9-3 KD. Spearman gets tossed away there from Siscon. Obviously knows his opponent has a stable. So we'll expect a couple knights, but does have 5 spears as well. So should be okay. This is also the better play. Mid-elo or low-elo players, they're going to go pikes here, but pikes are slow. Siscon's not going to like that. He wants camels instead, and they're really cheap. It's also really smart. The spears are enough to hold from the first 2 knights, so you can still advance forward instead of having to run back home and be scared. Super confident. And now Z40 is like, I've got an opportunity. It's just 4 unupgraded spears. Here I go. This is a great spot for me. I'm going to snipe those spears. Guess what? There's camels here now. And Siscon knows you're in trouble. He dives with the skirms, so the archers can't do enough. And now the archers are cleared up, and poor Z40 just keep getting pushed away time and time and time and freaking again. It's very reminiscent of the first game, where Siscon, he applied pressure against walls. He wasn't able to break Z40, but he still was patient and did everything he needed to do behind it. And, man, I mean, I for some reason came into today thinking Z40 was safely going to playoffs. This could be bad. He could just be back in gold. No chance at playoffs, actually. He loses this and then running gets a good result later. The other thing we could have happen, guys, is land could survive in gold and running could be relegated. There's a lot of possibilities. Pretty sick. Well, 2 TCs from Z40. He'll drop the third now. And again, eco's pretty similar, but just waiting for some good engagements, it seems. Has not really been able to find any. And third TC now for Siscon. That TC goes up on stone, so he might be thinking about a castle. And just keeps knocking on the door here. Siscon's play just says, you are not on my level. Like, the gameplay honestly says it all. Oh, man, the monk goes down for Z40. The thing is, like, you might be like, why is he there with the monk? He's trying to scare him away. Like, this is actually a problem. That you can't let that range go down. If that range goes down, he'll come into your wood line. It's not like he's just going to stop here. Oh, man, another monk goes down. +2 armors on the way with camels. The skirms have gotten such great value. They're not even elite skirms. They're just feudal age skirms. And I think this range will go down, and I think Siscon will not hesitate. He's still being patient. He still will wait. But I think if the range disappears, he'll be through. Does lose a camel finally. But who really cares when your camels are this cheap? And here we go. Now the monk can't get another conversion. There is another monk there, which he needs to see. He loses the camel, but he's underneath the TC with +2. The knights don't have the upgrades. And Siscon, he's not going to win the game with camels underneath of town centers, but this is just a nice position and lead to have. And the remaining camels should be able to come over here and at least keep Z40 off of gold. And, you know, I just think, like, Z40's had a great season. But he has not really been punished as heavily all season. Again, unfortunately, I didn't cast all the games, but I watched every one, and his more strategic boom-up style has worked a lot because people who tried to punish it would go too aggressive, and then he would hold. But it was never this perfect balance of, like, aggression and eco. No one was ever this calm and relaxed. He would drop a castle here. I think that's just purely for organ gun production at this point, which makes sense. He needs some type of military presence other than what he has right now. Knights obviously isn't going to cut it. So that's a sad-looking castle. But it'll go up. Siscon, yet again, will see it. Kind of reminds me of when he saw the knights. He saw the stable ahead of time. He knows. So now, I would say Siege Workshop for any potential organ guns would make sense. Or you just drop your castle in the middle before he can get there with the organ guns, and here he comes. Just going to block the opening, man. Just so good. Super smooth. Yo, Eric, thanks for the 3 years, man. Eric, do you remember that game we played? Which was with handicap? Do you remember? I'm sure you do. That was a good time. We have a pretty good short made from that as well. 3 TCs. Cannot compliment Siscon enough for how easy he's made this look. The camels dive in just to take a peek and see what's happening. And obviously, heavy organ gun production is going to be the response for Z40. And then he's going to he's going to move through the middle thinking, oh, great, I'm on monks and organs. Let's go. And then he's probably thinking, I can build my next castle in the middle. I can pressure, take all the stone and gold, and win the game. And then there's just going to be a castle there, and he's going to be stuck. Could go around the outside, though. Could also get relic number 2. The thing you got to say about Z40 today, his eco is almost always on par with Siscon. It's just Siscon is hitting the timings. I said handicap, not handicap. Yeah, so we played, I think at that time, Eric was like 1,300. I forget what handicap he had. But there's a couple shorts of it. If you ever saw the short of me quick walling and saying I am the Viper, that was against Eric. That was a couple years ago. So it seems like Siscon is a little bit paranoid on the left side, because I don't think this tower was here before. I think it's because he hasn't seen the organs. So because he didn't see the organs, he thinks they could be coming this direction. We might even actually see the guard tower upgrade. This is also amazing. Great guard tower position there. And that's not visible to Z40, so he has no clue. But Z40's up to Imp. And Z40 will have multiple relics. And Z40's Portuguese. Like, you can tell why if you overproduce army or against this guy, if your macro isn't also good, you will be beaten in Imp. You could see the quality from Z40. I actually think he thinks that castle's too risky against Byzantines, which is also a really good call. You don't want a castle in Treb range of the Byzantines, so he might build that in the back of his base. Feels weird, but you're going to need your castles to have a chance here. And, okay. Well, that feels even weirder. Well, hold on. No, now you cancel that. Don't build that. No. Nope. Back. Yep. Okay. That's fine. Back to the original spot. That's fine. Yeah, because even though you want a safe castle, this feels like way out of position when there's no stone and gold. What's the army for Siscon going to be? He's getting guard tower, placing it on the wood lines. I don't think camels is it anymore. He doesn't have any archer ranges yet. Went up to 4 TCs. What is the army? Bombard cannons? Monks? Trebs? Doesn't actually have... He doesn't have anything to fight monks and organ guns up close right now. I think this Treb will just go to take out the TC there. I mean, that's one thing you could try. I think he needs to go in and see what his opponent has right now. Okay, now he can see it. But, like, I think throughout the whole game, he always had an idea. And there's been a little bit of uncertainty here. Z40 needs... Against Byzantines, this is the classic example of do not trickle Treb. If he moves forward with 1 Treb here, I will be very upset. You have to wait till you've got your 4 Trebs, and you make your move at once. Cavalier now for Siscon. Well, it's hard to know what to make against organs. You can't make trash against organs. You kind of need to go siege against organs, but then if the opponent has monks to convert the siege, you're stuck as well. And here he goes with 1 Treb. I would expect Siscon to have bombard cannons for that, but Siscon didn't have the siege workshop. Interesting. And Z40's already making cannons. Guys, if Z40 pushes up the middle here, he could get that victory. He has held on. He has 3 relics. That is a pretty terrifying army to fight right now. I just don't think Z40 is going to be the player to get up to 10 to 15 monks and get a conversion with everyone. And I also don't think he truly knows what he's up against. So as a player, you're going to click this castle, and you're going to see the upgrades. You're going to see Bracer and Chemistry. So you're going to expect, like, Arbalest or Skirm or something. Castle's going to fall for Siscon. And I don't think he has the time for Paladin. I know why people would want that here. I don't think he has the time. This is a lot of pressure, and his Treb goes down. Guys, Z40 wants the playoffs. His chances are so much better if he snags this win. Here go the camels to the right. Now, there's a castle there, which I think just went up because it's shooting the outpost. So, Siscon wanted to raid with the camels. That won't work well. That's a whole bunch of organ guns, man. He is going to try Paladin. Okay, Paladin on the way. He's got 6 Cavalier. This castle needs to go up to give him a little bit more time. And it goes up. Okay. Well, Paladin's a minute and a half away. It feels like it'll probably take a little bit of time for Z40 to take these buildings down. And then he'll move to the castle. The camels die. A very, very sad camel death. Also, this guard tower goes down. Man, imagine if Siscon had more castles instead of the towers. If these are elite organ guns, Paladin is totally dead. Oh my god, Z40 is going to win this game. Z40 is going to win this game. Devotion is a great tech to research. And Siscon's going to need a lot of paladins. But paladin will be in. Let's see, though. Let's see. You know, you're going to need siege and paladins, though, to push the position back. Z40 must be so confused. He's like, I've only seen camels and a treb all of the Imperial Age. Also, could be 5 relics for Z40. He's now coming to the middle for stone and gold. Those are just outposts on the sides from both. Can Siscon get the 3-0 to help others in the group, but really hurt the chances for Z40 to go to the playoffs? Oh, man, is he waiting. This is crazy, guys. This is crazy. Give him credit for at least waiting until he gets a big mass. He's gonna have 30. Here they come. Z40, ready the monks. Ready the monks. Convert as fast as possible. Here we go. Is Byzantine Paladin enough? The castle's being repaired. I don't know if there is enough for Z40, actually. The bombard cannons will get sniped. The castle for Siscon will stay up. Everything that Z40 has here is dying. And the patience from Siscon was actually enough. That's going to be so tough for Z40 to make more of them, right? He had like 25 elite organs. Now he's down to 0. He's panic queuing up a bunch of monks. If Siscon can now make trebs to just take this castle out, he'll have all the middle again. That was crazy patience. A lot of players just don't give up that much ground, and they'll fight it a little too early. They'll fight with lower numbers of paladins, but he waited and waited and waited. That was sick. To see the paladins charge in like that out of nowhere. Murder Holes comes in for Z40. But the paladins are just going to take out the castle. And there is going to be a treb. You might just want to move. Oh, God, look how many vills are in there. Yep, that's worth it. That's worth it. Vills are going to be slaughtered. 150 vills for Siscon. 90 villagers now for Z40. And no gold in the middle if this gets spotted anyways. And it will be. 2 paladins get sent over to do the job. The rest of the paladins are going to storm. Z40 just has he had no clue what was coming. And organ guns are kind of tricky for me. Sometimes they feel completely busted. Other times they don't. I think where they do struggle is against 40 paladins. You really would need the halves in front, right? Dang, I can't wait to rewatch that. I feel like a kid again. The paladins just storming into the middle of the map from the darkness. That was crazy. Siscon, top of the group. Siscon, 13 wins, 2 losses, won every single freaking series. He is a platinum player next season. Such great improvement from him. It was very clear he was prepped. At some point, I'm hoping to interview him as well. But I want to go back and just rewatch that. Because that was crazy. He could have gone right now, by the way. He could have gone with 18 paladins. But he waited as long as he could. And then eventually moves. And you just watch this from Z40's perspective. You're Z40. You're like, I'm doing this. The score is close. He's throwing. Oh my goodness, I've got this. And you're in dreamland. You've got triple castle organ gun production. You've got monks. You've got gold. Your opponent's got nothing. And then out of the darkness, a strange shape appears. A unit you have not seen the entire game. We didn't see a single knight the entire game. And just as he's feeling good, just as he's about to take out the castle, the paladins storm in. That's crazy. That's like from a movie scene right there. That's a movie scene. You lose all your control. You go for the desperation pushback. And you keep the castle up in the final moments. That was disgusting, man. Now, I think the fight was really poorly taken from Z40. I think it's because of the surprise. But those organ guns need to be back. The organ guns were like frozen. And they didn't hit and run. And I think they needed to be further back. He was not expecting this, by the way. He's prepping to go Cav. He was expecting like skirms or something. He was not expecting Paladin whatsoever. Should have gone Hal probably. Maybe wouldn't have had the time. And GG. All right. So let's quickly look and let's see the updated results, what that means. Obviously, for Siscon, that means he's platinum next season. Congratulations to him. This is a crazy talented group, guys, of experienced players. Like, Kingston have been top 16 in LAN events before, top 8 in the LAN event coming up in March. Like, Kingston's incredible. He's not winning the group. Running, top 20 in the world at one point. He's not winning the group. We'll see him next. LAN, top 10, top 20 in the world at one point. He's not winning the group. He might be relegated. Siscon, 13 wins. 13 wins. Now, Z40, whether or not he gets playoffs, all depends on what happens with running LAN, which we'll talk about in a second. But we actually have Siscon available now for an interview. Sick. This is good because I learned some French earlier. Siscon is in the room together with Sato, who will be the translator. Quick. Guys, how do I say congratulations in French? Real quick. Tell me. We want to be respectful. Sato's going to translate for Siscon. Okay. All right. Baguette? Is that it? Really? Okay. Okay. I'll do that. Hello. With me should be Siscon and Sato. Siscon, congratulations.
Thank you. Hello.
Hey,
And hello, Sato. How you doing, man?
good. I'm happy to be the translator today.
Okay. Awesome. Well, Siscon, I don't know if you watched my cast at all, but I talked to... Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I watch.
Okay. So I talked about your journey because you, like many players maybe last year or the year before, were really high rated on Arabia and the ladder. And then you played in tournaments and maybe the results weren't necessarily what you were hoping. And sometimes people get discouraged and they blame the maps and they don't try and get better. And then other times people train and try and improve. So I've been really impressed. I feel like your preparation showed, and I'm curious, like, how much training did you do for Titans League Silver and then Titans League Gold to get these results?
Ok, so I guess it's my turn to translate.
Go ahead, yeah.
Oui.
Du coup, il parle de ton parcours et des années d'avant et tout. Et il disait que certains joueurs, des fois, ils se plaignent de la map, des trucs comme ça. Et toi, il voit que tu as beaucoup de train et tout. Et wait, what was the last question, Tina?
I'm sorry, I talked way too much. Just ask him how much he prepared for this tournament.
Ah, tu t'es beaucoup entraîné pour le tournoi ou pas?
Ouais, je me suis entraîné. Je crois qu'il a demandé le nombre de training. Je crois que j'ai fait 30 trainings. Comme ça. Et j'en ai fait 10 en silver. Pas plus.
Okay. So he trained a lot. He did like 30 training. I don't know if he counted exactly, but he said 30. And 10 for Silver League. So I guess he trained more than me in my whole life. So.
Is that games or is that sets?
Des parties ou des matchs?
Un peu des deux. Il y a au total
30 games ou 30 matchs?
En game, je pense que j'en ai fait 60, 70, ouais, max.
Oh, so that was 30 sets.
He trained 30 to 40 sets. Okay. And I'll just say, that was clear to me. That was very, very clear to me when I watched him play. That's not a question. That's just a statement. That's amazing.
Non, bah, il a dit que ça se voyait que tu avais bien traîné. Donc, bravo.
Thanks.
So, I wanted to ask Siscon a bit about his Age of Empires 2 career because I keep forgetting when he started playing the game, and then like what games he played before. So I don't know if there's a way to ask that, Sato.
Du coup, il se demande, enfin, t'as commencé par quoi? Ta carrière de jeu, est-ce que tu joues à d'autres jeux avant?
Les autres jeux ou juste les RTS?
D'autres jeux en général.
Oh bah, Rocket League, je sais que Kinetic, je crois que je joue énormément à StarCraft, mais j'ai jamais joué à StarCraft. Et non, c'est tout en vrai.
Ok, he just played Rocket League and he said that you always think that he played StarCraft before, but he never played StarCraft in his life.
Oh, whoops! I'm sorry. It's good to hear it from him.
You're confused with Marine Lord, I think.
Marine Lord. Yeah, another French guy. Yeah, true. Okay, what rank were you in Rocket League? Because I actually played quite a bit of Rocket League myself.
J'étais grand champion.
Oh.
Mais c'est avant qu'il y ait les nouveaux rangs.
grand champion. It must be like grandmaster.
Grand
something like
Grand
that.
Champion. Okay, I was champ.
Grand champion.
I was champ. So
Oh.
Yeah, that's why you're a caster tonight.
yeah,
And he's
yeah,
a
yeah.
player.
Classic. That's like the 2K3 of Rocket League.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Or not even. So, but Siscon, you started playing Age of Empires 2 in 2020, according to your profile. So that's been like 4.5, 5 years. What brought you to the game, and how? Like, when did you feel like you wanted to compete at a pro level? Because it looks like you did hit 2K in 2022, which took you about 2 years when you started playing in 2020.
Du coup, qu'est-ce qui t'a fait commencer le jeu et c'est quoi le déclencheur qui a dit que tu pouvais genre que tu voulais essayer de devenir pro et être motivé quoi?
Bah, en fait, je l'habitais chez mon père et j'avais pas de connexion internet. Du coup, c'était dur de 2020 à 2022 pour jouer. Du coup, j'ai quasiment pas joué. Et quand j'ai eu mon appartement, j'ai commencé à jouer. Je me suis dit, je tente un coup de poker.
Okay. So he said he didn't have internet for like 2 years, so he stopped playing, and then he started playing again, and I guess he's just a tryout in general because he felt like he wanted to try and see how it goes.
Okay. What were your expectations? What did you think could happen in this group? Because we had some really good players in this group.
C'était quoi tes attentes dans le groupe, dans la TTL, parce qu'il y avait quand même des bons joueurs dans le groupe?
Mes attentes, c'était de faire top 3, parce que je savais qu'il y avait Running et Kingston, qui pour moi étaient au-dessus de moi, ou un peu au-dessus de moi. Et au fur et à mesure, je voyais que j'étais meilleur que tout le monde, et du coup, je voulais faire top 1 sans perdre une game, en finissant en 5-0.
Okay, that's a classic Siscon answer. So he said first he thought he would be top 3 because Kingston and Running should be better than him. And then after a few games, he realized that he was better than anyone and he wanted to go 5-0. I like the confidence.
So was that, did you feel you were better than everyone because you saw their games and you thought they were underprepared, or you just like what did you see that made you feel like, okay, I can go 5-0?
Pourquoi tu t'es dit que tu pouvais les massacrer comme ça? Genre, t'as vu qu'ils s'étaient pas préparés ou t'as juste vu que t'étais meilleur qu'eux? Genre, c'était quoi?
Parce que je pense qu'ils avaient pas train, ouais, tous à part Z40, je pense que c'est lui qui est le plus train. Je trouve que les autres n'ont pas trop train et ça s'est vu. Un peu comme dans les autres groupes, les gros joueurs étaient pas à fond.
Ah, okay. He said that to him it seemed like they didn't train as much as they should, except Z40, and yeah, that's why with training he could do better than them.
Okay. So Siscon, you don't have to share this, but I want to hear who you trained with the most and who you would like to credit for helping you practice, or did you just train with everybody?
T'es pas obligé de le dire, mais est-ce que tu peux nous dire avec qui t'as train ou avec qui tu veux, je sais pas, à qui tu veux dire merci d'avoir train avec toi?
Tu veux que je te dise merci à toi. Sito, du coup, il m'a aidé sur certaines maps. Il y a Dragonstar, qui m'a aidé beaucoup sur Rocky Forest, avec la strat byzantin. Et après, j'ai traîné beaucoup avec Sobek et Prisma. Et voilà.
So he said that I helped him a bit on certain maps.
Okay.
So yeah, was against for the match against Running. So Running fans, but yeah, I helped Siscon to train against Running. And then, wait, who did he say?
I think I heard
Dragonstar.
Dragonstar was a big one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Dragonstar. He trained a lot with Dragonstar. Yeah.
J'ai pas traîné beaucoup. Il m'a surtout entraîné sur une map, sur Rocky Forest.
Ah, okay. No, he didn't train as much with him, but he mainly practiced a map with him. It's funny. I just received a message from Running on Discord.
Running is pissed at you. That's fun. Is he mad about that? I mean, running is next set we're gonna cover, so he might.
I just received what the fuck.
Okay, all right. And then Dragonstar, did I hear Sobek as well?
I think he said Prisma. Sobek, t'as traîné avec lui?
Prisma,
Ouais,
Sobek.
Sobek et Prisma.
Oh, Sobek. Oh, okay.
Normalement.
You understand French better than me tonight.
Okay, got it. Well, I mean, that's good to see because Prisma's in a similar situation where he also is looking to grind and survive and do well in Group B in gold. Awesome. So Siscon, final question, and then I'll let you go. Sorry for talking so much. But now when you are promoted in Platinum for the next season, it will obviously be an even bigger step. And it is likely that you and anyone who gets promoted will be seen as the underdogs. So how's your confidence if you're now in the top 24 to really make a name for yourself there?
Du coup, ouais, le fait que tu passes en Platinum, c'est vraiment une grande étape dans ta carrière. Et comme tu as été promu de la God League, tu vas être vu comme un underdog. Tu te sens comment par rapport à ça?
Bon, ça me dérange pas. En vrai, je vais faire tout mon mieux pour gagner, quoi, comme d'habitude. Et
Ok.
ouais, ça va pas.
Est-ce que tu penses que t'es un underdog ou pas
Ah,
dans le top 24?
oui, oui, bah oui, normal, je suis un peu nouveau.
Ok. Okay. So he's saying he's not bothered to feel like an underdog, like that people consider him as an underdog. And he admits that he should be an underdog because he's new in this pro scene.
Got it. Okay. But it sounds like there's still some good confidence there, which is good to see. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, that's it. I mean, Siscon, I don't know if you wanted to officially thank anybody or if that's it for you, but if you had anything else to say, feel free. Otherwise, congratulations, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in Platinum next year.
Allez,
Or
Siscon,
next season, sorry.
tu peux dire un mot à tes fans et puis, je sais pas, dis ce que tu veux pour finir l'interview.
Ben, merci pour le soutien, tous ceux qui me soutiennent en français et les autres. Et voilà, c'est tout. Merci beaucoup.
Okay, so
Et
thank you.
merci T90 pour le tournoi. Voilà.
He said thank you for the support, like especially the French people that support him a lot. He said that he's the biggest T90 fan. And, and thank you for the tournament.
I could tell by his laugh that that's definitely what he said. Thank you, Sato, for
Yeah,
that.
definitely.
Yeah. All right. Hey, congratulations, Siscon. See you, bro. Thank you, Sato, for the translations. See you guys.
Yeah, see you. Bye bye.
Bye.